Man, I don't know about you guys, but for the first time in a long time, it feels like we're heading into one of those moments that could quietly shape the future of the Philadelphia 76ers. As Sixers fans, we've learned the hard way not to get too comfortable. Every offseason seems to bring a new question, a new concern, and a new reason to wonder whether this team is really getting closer to where we all want it to be. But today feels different, because we've got not one, but two major stories that every single Sixers fan should be paying attention to right now. The first one could completely change the way people look at Philadelphia heading into next season. It's the kind of development that can instantly raise expectations across the entire fan base and make people start dreaming bigger than they were just a few weeks ago. And then there's the second story, which could have a direct impact on the roster, the front office plans, and some very important decisions that might be coming sooner than a lot of people expected. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack today, and trust me, both of these stories matter much more than they might seem at first glance. Before we get into it, if you're a real Sixers fan, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. And if you're new here, my name is Henry. This channel is still brand new, and we're trying to reach our first 1,000 subscribers. So if you live and breathe Philadelphia 76ers basketball like I do, subscribe and become part of this community from the very beginning. I'd love to have you here. Now let's talk about what's really going on behind the scenes with the Sixers. Alright, Sixers fans, let's start with the biggest piece of news today. And honestly, this is the kind of update we've been waiting to hear for what feels like forever. For the first time in multiple off-seasons, Joel Embiid's health is not surrounded by uncertainty. Think about that for a second. Over the last 2 years, every conversation around the Philadelphia 76ers started with the same question: is Joel Embiid going to be healthy? Not championship expectations, not playoff matchups, not roster moves, just health. And unfortunately, there was a reason for that. As incredible as Joel Embiid has been throughout his career, injuries have consistently been the biggest obstacle standing between the Sixers and a legitimate championship run. The former NBA MVP has dealt with one setback after another, and Sixers fans know this story all too well. Every time this team seemed ready to take the next step, something happened. In the last 2 seasons alone, Embiid wasn't available for the opening game of the year because of issues connected to his knee. That's why this latest update feels so important. After undergoing arthroscopic knee surgery in April of 2025 and then dealing with an emergency appendectomy before Philadelphia's playoff run this year, Embiid has now reached the offseason without any major lingering health concerns. And honestly, that's huge. He's 32 years old now. Nobody is expecting him to suddenly play every back-to-back game. The Sixers will still be careful. The medical staff will still monitor his workload. But for the first time in a long time, Philadelphia can actually prepare for a season assuming Joel Embiid will be available from day one. That completely changes the conversation, because let's be honest. When Joel Embiid is healthy, this team isn't thinking about simply making the playoffs. This franchise isn't thinking about being competitive. The expectation becomes winning a championship, and that's exactly how it should be. There are very few players in the entire NBA who can dominate both ends of the floor the way Embiid can. When he's on the court, everything changes. Defenses panic, game plans change, double teams come immediately. And suddenly the entire offense operates differently. That's why this update immediately raises the level of ambition for the organization. But at the same time, Sixers fans have every right to be cautious. Because we've been here before. We've seen promising summers turn into frustrating seasons. And that's exactly why the front office cannot make the same mistake they made in previous years. The Sixers cannot build their entire future around one player anymore, no matter how great Joel Embiid is. This is where Mike Ganzi and the front office face a huge challenge. Yes, you want to maximize Embiid's championship window. Absolutely. But you also have to think about Tyrese Maxey. You also have to think about VJ Edgecombe. Both players represent a massive part of Philadelphia's future. For years, former president of basketball operations Daryl Morey focused heavily on constructing rosters that revolved around giving Embiid everything he needed to carry the team. The problem was simple. Whenever Embiid got hurt, the entire blueprint collapsed. Everything fell apart. We've all lived through it. And nobody wants to watch that happen again. That's why this offseason feels different. Philadelphia needs versatile players. They need tough defenders. They need rebounders. They need two-way contributors who can help Embiid while also allowing Maxey and Edgecombe to continue growing. The article even references the recent championship run of Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. Brunson showed that smaller guards can absolutely lead successful teams, but the key is support. You don't want Tyrese Maxey carrying the burden of scoring, playmaking, and rebounding all at the same time. The roster has to help him, and if Philadelphia gets this right, suddenly the outlook for next season becomes very exciting. Now obviously, we're talking about the Sixers here. Something always seems to happen. Every fan watching this knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's why nobody is planning the championship parade yet, but compared to where this franchise was 1 year ago, the situation is unquestionably better. Joel Embiid is healthy. Tyrese Maxey continues to develop. VJ Edgecombe is viewed as a major piece moving forward. And the front office has a chance to build something much more sustainable around them. Now let's move to the second story because this one could have direct implications for Philadelphia's offseason plans. As NBA free agency gets closer, one name generating a lot of attention around the league is Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz, and the situation is fascinating. Kessler is heading into restricted free agency, which means the Jazz hold most of the power. According to reports around the league, Walker Kessler is frustrated with his current situation in Utah and is hoping another team steps forward with a significant offer. The teams most frequently connected to him are the Los Angeles Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. League executives reportedly believe both franchises have had interest in Kessler dating back to last season. The challenge is simple. Utah can match almost any offer. And if they do, teams like the Lakers or Bulls would essentially waste valuable free agency time and cap flexibility. That's why Kessler's camp appears to be pushing information publicly in hopes of encouraging aggressive offers. His previous contract discussions reportedly included a proposal worth 5 years and $140 million. Kessler is believed to be seeking something closer to $35 to $40 million annually. That's a massive difference. And right now nobody knows how this will end. So why should Sixers fans care? Because every major free agency domino affects the entire market. When players like Walker Kessler, Austin Reeves, James Harden, Trae Young, Peyton Watson, Tari Eason, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Duren and others start receiving contracts, the financial landscape changes for everybody. And Philadelphia has two important names sitting right in the middle of that conversation, Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre Jr. According to the projections discussed in the free agency board, Quentin Grimes could command a contract worth roughly 4 years and $60 million. After the way he played for Philadelphia, that's not surprising at all. He earned it. His defense, energy, shot creation and toughness became incredibly valuable for this team. Meanwhile, Kelly Oubre Jr. is projected around 2 years and $25 million. And here's where things get interesting. The report specifically mentions that Philadelphia may eventually have to choose between keeping Grimes and keeping Oubre. That's not an easy decision. Grimes is younger. He's entering his prime. He fits the timeline of Maxey and Edgecombe. But Oubre brings toughness, athleticism, intensity and a mentality that fans absolutely love. Personally, I think this is one of the biggest decisions facing the front office. Because these aren't just role players anymore. These are rotation pieces that matter. The wrong choice could hurt. The right choice could strengthen Philadelphia's depth around Embiid, Maxey and Edgecombe for years. And depth matters, especially when you're trying to survive the long NBA season and prepare for playoff basketball. At the end of the day, both stories point toward the same reality. The Philadelphia 76ers finally have reasons to be optimistic. Joel Embiid appears healthy entering in off-season. Tyrese Maxey continues to grow into one of the league's most dynamic guards. VJ Edgecombe represents exciting long-term potential. And the front office now faces important decisions that could determine whether this team remains a contender or takes another step toward becoming a true championship threat. As fans, we've been through enough disappointment to know that nothing is guaranteed. But it's okay to feel hopeful right now. It's okay to believe this offseason could be different. Because for the first time in a while, it feels like Philadelphia is entering the summer with opportunities instead of questions. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Joel Embiid can stay healthy for an entire championship run? Would you prioritize Quentin Grimes or Kelly Oubre Jr. if the Sixers can only keep one of them? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know Sixers fans are going to have strong opinions on this one. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. If you're a real believer in the future of the Philadelphia 76ers, subscribe to 76ers Daily News and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. This channel is still growing, and I'd love for you to be part of this community from the very beginning. As always, thank you for watching, and let's hope this is finally the season where everything starts coming together for the Sixers.